National Signing Day coverage continues, and we are pleased to bring on one of Michigan's new players, and Eli Owens, who signs up, and he's a Wolverine. Eli, how are you?
What's happening, y'all? I'm blessed to be here. Pleasure. I'm grateful to have signed today, and I'm ready to get to work, man.
Yeah, well, what's today been like for you? You've been committed for a long time, and today to make it official. You feel any different?
Man, I feel great. I had to go get some wisdom from my barber to open my day. I'm having my ceremony tonight after football practice, and hopefully the rest of the day ends up being pretty well, man.
Well, what kind of wisdom did your barber impart on you besides making you look good?
Just tell me keep the Lord first in everything I do. It's very important to always have a connection with God and things of that nature. Just taking it way back when I was like 5, 6 years old, and he just give me a buzz cut, tell me to get out the chair.
Is that what he did today? I've seen pictures of you. I haven't seen one lately, but it doesn't look like you've been rolling with a buzz cut. You've evolved here. What kind of what kind of habitat? What kind of hair are we talking about?
No, man. I just get in the chair and tell him to make me pretty, and that's a specialty. So he's a great guy. His name's Shannon. If you're ever in the Knoxville area and you need a haircut, make sure you roll down to Shannon's Barbershop. You can look it up online if you're ever in town. So.
Shannon's Barbershop. It sounds pretty good. Sounds fun. Now, Eli, you also you sound like you're going to be, and you look like you're going to be a great. But tell us what kind of football player that Michigan's getting.
Man, I tell you, man, Michigan's getting a hard-nosed football player who's just willing to do whatever it takes to win for his team and for his brothers. I just like the game of football and whatever it entails, and I hope to be, great one day.
Tell me about your position. Michigan's got a long line now here recently. I mean, you can go back as far as you want, but especially here recently, their tight ends have been tremendous. I would also say the same thing about the H-back or fullback position. Are those the two positions that you're thinking about where you'll start out to see what happens?
Yeah. No, I've had a lot of talks with Coach Kasula, Coach Moore. They're expecting me to be able to come in early and kind of compete as a fullback, H-back type of guy. What's happened? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm driving. There's traffic. I'm not trying to wreck.
No, I'm about safety first. Eli, go ahead.
But no, they envision me as a not necessarily as a Max Bredesen replacement, because I don't know if you can ever replace Max Bredesen, but just kind of a guy who can step into any role, be very versatile, and knock a couple heads loose if he needs to.
You like blocking then?
Oh, I love blocking. I like blocking more than I like catching.
Well, that's music to everyone's ears. You decided on Michigan early in the process. What was it that jumped out about the Michigan Wolverines to a kid from Tennessee?
Well, I mean, growing up, I've always been a Tennessee fan. I could tell you first Tennessee game I ever went to, where I sat in the stadium, what the final score was, all that. But every time I visited Michigan, I felt like nothing could compare, and that held true. I'd go visit all these different places and do all of these different things at these places, and at the end of the visit, I just tell my mom, it's cool, but it's not Michigan. It's not what felt right for me, and then just the way that I fit into the program, the people. We're all with the same mindset. We're all just guys who love some ball, and hopefully one day we can get back to where we need to be to perform at our best.
We're talking with Eli Owens, who's coming in a part of the 2025 recruiting class. Eli spoke with Avery Gatch this morning, and he was saying that he was excited about his future roommates, and he mentioned you. And it no surprise, it was Bobby Kanka from right down the road here in Howell, and then yourself from Tennessee, and then Gatch, and it sounds like you guys have already created a bond.
Yeah, man, I love those two guys. They're great. I mean, we've all visited Michigan like 45 times. I mean, with them, they live right down the road, but we've just, we've created a bond. We've created a connection. We're very similar personality wise. The three of us, we come from similar backgrounds, and we all, all three of us, we know we want to play early and do whatever we can. So we're gonna work together, bond together, and do whatever it takes to get each other on the field.
You're coming in early?
Yes, sir.
What's that like? I mean, it already seems like you're going to have to, you have matured, and you're just going to put high school in the rear view mirror here and come in early and get a jump on college. What's that decision like? Is that an easy decision or is that a difficult one?
For me, it's probably the easiest decision I could have ever made. Throughout this entire process, I knew that I was going to graduate early and be, on campus, probably in like sixth grade. I just think it's very important development wise to get, an extra 6 months basically. And being able to adjust to the speed that much quicker, throughout the course of spring ball, get the offense learned, and really try and find my place on the team before, things really get rolling here but right before camp starts.
How many did you watch all of the Michigan games this year?
Of course I did. Everyone start to finish. I was really pleased with the team and what we've done, throughout this year. It hasn't been, the best year per standards, but I think that we've done what mattered and we've done the best with what we have. And I think that's important to realize going forward that, a down year isn't a bad thing. And I wouldn't even consider this a down year. I just consider this another year, another opportunity, to show Michigan fans Michigan football.
What was your approach this past Saturday? Did you sit down with a Michigan hat and say, all right, this is going to be a tough one against Ohio State. Nobody's really picking Michigan except Desmond Howard and Charles Woodson and Jake Butt, guys who, played at Michigan. And then what was your approach with the game?
No, I was getting so many texts from my friends and whatnot, saying that Michigan's, we're basically going to get butt stomped and all this, all these statements that, we suck and Ohio State's going to, beat us by 50 and all this. And I knew that there was something, brewing, not necessarily what it was going to be, but I know how we prepare for this game and what the game means to us. And, it wouldn't make anybody on the team happier than to go into Columbus and ruin Ohio State's season. And I knew that we were going to play as hard as we could all four quarters and do what it took to win. And at the end of the day, that's what happened.
Tell me about recruiting in the landscape and what it's been like watching it, knowing that you've been in the fold. You're one of the first three, actually, I think the second guy to commit. And then it's been a long time. And then you see guys commit, flip, you see guys coming in elsewhere. And then today it's still pretty wild. What's that like from your vantage point?
Man, it's wonderful. I get to experience all these people that feel the same way about Michigan that I do. And I think it's amazing to be able to have so many people have, one common goal and one common interest, and that's to make Michigan the best possible football program it can be. And I think that, you're bringing guys who know how to represent the program into the program, and it just gets better from here. I think that in the next coming years, we're going to be the Michigan football of always. I think we've got a great class coming in, and I think great coaches are going to make us even better players.
Yeah. How about the team and any Michigan players that, you're a fan of all the guys here? You already mentioned Bredesen, Colston Loveland plays tight end. He's a great player. And down through the years, who are just either some of the current players or former players that you've admired?
Well, I will say, this is kind of funny, but I wasn't the biggest Michigan fan until I got to high school. I was always a Tennessee fan growing up, and if you weren't Tennessee, it's kind of, I'm not rocking with you. Until this Michigan offer happened, and I got to experience everything that comes with the University of Michigan, and I really started, to deep dive and study, the history of the program and all the players and whatnot. And I'm a big fan of guys that mean a lot to the program that might not be, well known. But I'm a big Max fan. Really, Max Bredesen is probably my favorite Michigan football player, just because he's someone I've gotten to spend time with and really develop a relationship with and things of that nature.
When I hear any Michigan football player current players talk about Max Bredesen, you just can't shut him up. They love Bredesen. He's a captain, and they say, "Oh, Breddy," and they just keep going. But for me, you go into the barber today, I don't think anybody's got better hair than Max Bredesen. I can tell you that.
Man, well, it's because he's hairier than a Wolverine. He's the hairiest man on the planet. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. He grows a beard in 2 days.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So you're coming in early, and you're going to want to compete. What's your routine like? How much are you lifting? Where do you want to be physically? Size wise, what are they telling you about that? Just keep it up, and then come in and just get ready to go. What's your approach there?
Well, right now I'm still in season. We have our state championship Friday.
Oh.
So I'm still lifting in season. Just trying to do what I can for my high school team right now. And once Friday's over with, I've got about 2 weeks before I move in to try and get my body in tip-top shape before I head off. And once I get there, whatever happens, and hopefully a couple good things can happen along the way.
Well, Eli, I didn't mean to bury the lead. So you're telling me you're playing for a state championship coming up Friday?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what this week's like. What's Friday? What are you going to do? So that's going to be your last game, and you're playing for a title. This is what you would dream of. Of course, you got the dream of coming to Michigan as well. What will Friday be like when you wake up, get ready to play for a state championship?
Man, it's feeling great. My school. Not a lot of people up north, know about my school. I go to Alcoa High School in Alcoa, Tennessee. We have a state record all-time 22 state championships, and we have won 9 in a row so far. We're working on 10 this Friday, and it's always a great experience to be able to go down to UTC in Chattanooga and be able to play for a state title. It's usually a 5:30 wake-up call. We're on the bus by 6. We're in Chattanooga by 9:45, and we're warming up by 10:30. So it goes super fast. You really don't get time to think. But I know I'm going to be trying my best to keep memories of this game, of this season for the rest of my life.
This sounds like a movie. If they've come in and talked about doing a movie of your high school, that's a dynasty.
Yeah, man. We make everything we do about our community and about our people, and I think that's what draw people in. It's a family thing for me. My entire family graduated from Alcoa, even back to my grandparents. And I knew that this was going to be the school I graduated from. We're a smaller town, probably 8,000 to 10,000 people. Right outside of Knoxville, about 20 minutes outside of Knoxville, and we just we're people who love each other and love our football.
What's your guys' nickname?
The Tornadoes.
Good luck to the Tornadoes on 10 championships in a row, and you going out on top and then coming into Michigan, Eli.
Thank you.
Have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you in the maize and blue. Congratulations again.
Yes, sir, of course.
Take care.
You too.
All right, there he is, Eli Owens. How about that? Coming in and playing in a high school program like that, where the expectation is championship, 9 in a row, 10 in a row. Eli Owens, who committed to Michigan right out of the gate, and then from what I have been told, a guy that has also helped Michigan out in the recruiting process when it comes down to getting other Michigan players in the fold. And sounds like Michigan, I mean, it looks like Michigan got a great one. It sounds like Michigan has got themselves a great one in Eli Owens. National Signing Day 2024. Little bit strange for a lot of people with it being here on December the 4th, not the first Wednesday in February. But look at how much college football has changed over the last couple of years. You wanted to tell me that it was going to be in March next year. I would say you sound crazy, but then I'd say, maybe you know what you're talking about. All right. And continue on National Signing Day. Thanks once again to Eli Owens coming in for Michigan in 2025.